evening to each and every one of you, and welcome to the Friday night edition of our rock and roll mission. I'm talking about Music Lovers LTD. Good evening to you and welcome. As you can see, we got a full house tonight. That means that the chicken and ribs are going to be served in about 10 minutes, and we're going to have a good time. No, not for real. I wish that was the case. But we got a full house. Everybody's here, and our legendary performer from Philadelphia, my good friend, Mr. Billy Carrlucci is here. Billy, how are you, my friend?
Thank you, Ali. I'm wonderful. I'm glad to be with you guys. You all look great. You all look great. I'm ready to live.
Billy, we're going to send you a check for that statement right at the end of the show, okay?
Yeah, how much is it going to be? Like, we're getting checks for $1.55 from BMI.
It's great to see you, my friend. It's great to see you. We've been sort of chasing each other around for a little bit, to get you here. You're just so very busy. I understand that you're moving to a new location. Tell us about that if you don't mind.
Well, Patty Latanzi and I are moving our show to Patty Latanzi, Billy Carrlucci, and the Gang Show to Vera's in Cherry Hill and Martin Pike. All right, and we're going to be there every Thursday from 6 to 9. The reason why we're moving there because the places we were working couldn't fit it. They couldn't fit our crowd in. There was not enough room.
Is that right?
Yeah, with not enough room. And this place, we're going to do good here.
Okay. Yeah, it is pretty big. I know about Vera's. It's very, very nice size. And I'm glad that brings you a little bit closer to me because, I mean, going to the other place, food was good, but it was just a long haul, man.
You show up, dinner's on me.
All right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up something with the gang, and I'm take a Thursday night off, and we're going to come over and hang out with you on a Thursday night. I promise you that. It's going to be very, very soon. Very soon. So, again, Bill, let's get started with this. Again, I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm going to let everybody else come in and introduce themselves, and then they're going to, talk to you about whatever it is. But let's go back to the very, very beginning, Billy. In 1959, how did the group get started? You, Billy, and the Essentials. First, you were another name. You were the Crystals. Let's talk about that for a minute.
We were Little Billy and the Crystals. I put together the group with the fellow Pete Therese. And he didn't live far from me. He went to school with my brother. I was a little younger than everybody. I think I was 14.
Okay.
And Danny and the Juniors were around the corner. They were the Juveniers then. And they were singing harmony in the corner. I said, man, I'd like to do that someday. Sing harmony. I love that sound. I didn't know what harmony was. So I think I got Phil D'Antonio and Mike Lenahan and Johnny Corfield. I had a group, 5 guys in the group. And I taught them how to sing harmony. You know how I did that? Because I watched the Juniors do harmony on the corner.
Okay.
Okay.
So
we had a nice sound. We were doing the oldies and stuff like that. Then I said, I'm going to write something. And I had a little guitar with 4 strings. And I started writing songs for the group. I wrote 5 songs. And my mother gave me $50 to go in the studio at Record in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's how it got started. So we cut 4 songs, and I took the demos to New York, and we had a lot of interest. So they recorded us in New York. And after that, Johnny Madeira and Dave White said, no, you're going to record for us. So they asked me, what would you like to sing? And I said, well, there's a song I really love called The Dance Is Over.
Oh, man.
B-side by the Shirelles. And they said, all right. And we went to New York to record it. We rehearsed it, really rehearsed it. We got to New York at Bell Sound Studios. 20-piece orchestra was in the studio. I didn't know 20 pieces. They put me in a little box to sing, and the group was on the other side of the room. And the song started. We did it in 2 takes.
Okay.
And the record came out. It was a beautiful record.
Okay, I'm going to pause on that because I've got a question. That happens to be one of my favorite songs. Maybe You'll Be There is great, but that happens to be one. I want to know the story on that. Let me switch over to Andrew. Andrew, how about you go and introduce yourself and, go with your question.
Hey, Mr. Carrlucci, how you doing? I'm Drew. Nice to have you on our show. We doing your research, man. You got a heck of a background. And part of that background includes being a high school classmate of Patti LaBelle.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about that association?
I walked around and I saw this girl. She sang around the area, you know. And we were in the school. I was singing. I was with Frank McIver, Joe. I still remember Joe Truxton, and I think Patty chimed in every once in a while and sang the high things. She was phenomenal. And then she had a record out. Was it HB Robinson label or something?
Yeah.
And it was a nice record, big record, you know. And she disappeared because she was singing. She had a record out. I didn't disappear from the school because my mother wouldn't let me. I graduated.
Okay.
And
all right.
One thing led to the other, and all of a sudden we had Maybe We Could Air out. And then from there, I started. I went in as I was signed to Mercury Records as not a producer, a writer, and an artist. And we opened an office building at the Schubert Building. We opened an office with John Madeira and Dave White, and I was part of that office because I was writing with them. And then later, Leon came in, Leon Huff, and I started writing with Leon. And we became partners. Leon, we were writing partners because they wanted a lot of songs, and Leon wrote a lot of them. He'd come back a lot of them at the end of the night. And they were going to change my name to Puff, so we'd be Huff and Puff. No, I got to keep my name. So for they changed it to Carl. They said it wouldn't fit on the record.
Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. Good question, Drew. Way to get it started. I'm gonna move over to Jay now. Jay, go ahead, my brother. Oh, wait a minute. Let me put you back on. I'm sorry. I can't get you off, Jay. Okay, go ahead, Jay.
Hey, good evening, Billy. Welcome to Music Lovers LTD. I'm Jay Francis.
Hey, good to see you.
I watch you and the gang. I watched a little segment of you and the gang, and you were trying to show off some of your dance moves. You talked about a split you did. If we get a big enough group to come over to see you, will you promise to do that split?
The only split I do is I split to leave it clean. But listen to me. I did the split with Danny Juniors, with Danny, twice a night because we did 2 shows for was 20 years.
Wow.
20 years.
Wow.
Took its toll.
I know you're not trying to see anything look like a split now.
I ain't doing that anymore.
Good question, Jay. Good question. All right, let me move over to Kevin. Kev, go ahead, bro.
Hey, good evening, Billy. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Kevin.
Hey, are you still performing with your group, The Essentials? Are you still performing with some of them?
Well, I tried to put it back together. So about a month ago, we rehearsed, and we had a nice sound, you know. But the one thing led to the other, and really didn't work out. So we tried. It was a good sound, but other things didn't work out.
Yeah, and everything's got to click. Good question, Kev. Good question.
Thank you.
All right, let me move over to let me get one of the ladies in here. Diane, come on in, babe.
Good evening, Billy. My name is Diane, and
so good looking, you sweetheart.
Oh well, thank you very much. And I'm from West Philly. Went to Bartram for half a semester. Yes, and then I graduated from West Philly.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. You went to good school.
Say what?
West Philly. You went to the good one.
Oh.
Well, I went to Southwest Philly, but I went to Bartram with Patty and a lot of other people. Danny Juniors all went to Bartram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So a lot of, and I think Leandros went to Bartram. Oh no, he went to West Philly High.
Yeah.
He was a good guy.
Leandros did. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now my question is, what do you attribute to your longevity in this music industry?
I'm going to tell you what
good question. Good question.
When I was a kid, at 14, 15, my mother said, "This is what you're going to do, and you love it, and you sound great. You write songs. Don't never leave this business because you're going to make it."
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really. And Every day I write songs. I wrote 1,755 songs so far, and half of them were recorded and released on records. But when I sing, I look up and she shoots the stars down, and I could sing much better than if I can't sing. And I sing higher than I was when I was 14. I love what I do. You know who told me that? Brian Wilson. You got to love what you do and love who you are.
Wow. Good question, Di. Good question. Absolutely a good question.
Don't ever quit. If you want to be successful, don't ever quit. I'm never going to quit.
All right. Good question, Di. Before I move over, excuse me, to the next person, I don't think.
Thank you, Diane, for that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think, and I'm thinking here as I'm getting ready to ask this question. I don't think that I've ever heard another performer tell me that their mother told them to do this and to continue doing. I do remember performers saying, do the best that you can. But you said your mom told you directly to do this and don't stop.
Yeah. She had to bring up 4 children on her own, my mother.
Okay.
Besides bringing up the 4 children, she advised me what to do. And she knew that I had talent at that young age.
That is awesome, Billy. That is awesome. That's got to be a heck of a driving force, not only with what's inside of you to go forward, but you got mom who backs everybody and tells you to go forward. That is awesome.
That's truth.
Truly awesome.
It's truth. Your mother's
that is really awesome. Let me step over here to Lamar. Lamar, I can't get you off, Lamar. You got to do that. Lamar. Okay, there he goes. Go ahead, Lamar.
Okay, can you hear me?
Go ahead,
Can
Lamar.
you hear me?
Go ahead, Lamar. All right, he put the thing back on here. Lamar, don't touch the button. I'll handle the button. Just go ahead and talk. Oh, Lord have mercy. This modern technology.
That's Lamar, why I love the show.
There he is. There he is. Now he put it back on again. Lamar, don't touch the mic button. Just turn it. Just hit it one time. Oh, for crying out loud. All right, we'll come back to Lamar. We'll come back to him. Who do we? Let's go over to Mark. Let's go over to Mark. Mark, go ahead, bro.
All right. Mr. Carrlucci, good evening to you, and thank you for joining. My name is Mark.
Thank you,
and
Mark.
as we discovered in our pre-show, we are classmates of John Bartram High School.
Yeah.
Best school in the land, as far as I'm concerned, but them people were like the West Phillies and the Overbrooks, so got to give them some play. But I got a question for you, sir. In your long career, can you tell us a story about a fun time you had on the road touring?
On the road? I could tell you a lot of fun times. Let me think of one that's really good. We're in Los Angeles doing a Dick Clark thing tour. And we ended up in Palm Springs doing shows at the Americas Hotel. I don't know if I could say this on the air, but let me think about it. I had a lot of girls on the road.
No, say it ain't so.
This one girl followed me around, and I know her name, but I don't know if I should mention her here. Anyway, we get to Palm Springs, and there she was, waiting for me. And we played tennis together. We played a lot of tennis on the road to keep busy, Okay. And in that group was Jerry Cedar from Rocky and the Rollers. He was our drummer at the time, and my roommate on the road. And she really liked me. And we had a good time. But that's one of the things, meeting nice people actually on the road. And it was a good time. And the funniest thing, I was on tour on a bus with Tiny Tim, Jackie Vernon, Eddie Fisher, the Drifters, the Shirelles, Danny and the Juniors, and Georgie Jessel. Can you imagine? All on the bus.
Wow.
Now, this is one thing that happened. We checked in the hotel and Tiny says, Mr. Bill, can you go with me to the Kmart? Ooh, Mr. Bill. Tiny. I said, sure. We get in the cab. We go to Kmart. He said, I just got to get a few things. And he carried that bag around. Tiny carried that bag everywhere. He says, come on over here. Next thing I know, I hear this on the loudspeakers. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a celebrity in the house, Mr. Tiny Tim. And we got bombarded. People were he was signing autographs for an hour. You know what I did? I left him there and went back to the room.
Wow. Wow. You know what's amazing? It was amazing, Billy. They didn't turn the blue light special on while y'all were in there. You know what I mean?
Another one, they don't want to go out me somewhere. I'm in the lobby at 7 o'clock in the morning. Georgie Dessel comes down. He says, hey, you want to get some breakfast? Hey, you want to get some breakfast? I said, sure. We get in the driver's car. We go to this diner. He sits down. I sit down next to him. He goes, hey, two blackberry brandies over here. And Tiana says, we don't serve early in the morning like this. He said, I'm Georgie Jessel. He said, I'll be right back. He come back. He put the bottle and 2 glasses down of blackberry brandy. I said, Georgie, where's our pancakes? Yeah, drink this, kid. That's good for you. So we had 2. And he said, let's go. You ready?
That's amazing. That's amazing. Good question, Mark. Good questions. Let me run over to see if we can get Lamar in here real quick. Okay, Lamar's open. Go ahead, bro. Lamar?
Am I there? Is how much did Jerry Blavitz help to promote y'all?
Here's the deal. Nobody, when my first record came out, The Dance Is Over, nobody would play it. That great record, nobody would play it. As this fella came from Mercury in Chicago, the national promotion man, his name was Danny Driscoll. He took over Jamie Guyton's promotional section of the company. Mm-hmm. And he called me in his office. He says, is this your record? I said, yeah. This record is going to be a hit. I'm going to make this record a hit. It was sitting on that table for a long time. So he says, Jerry Blavitt's going to play it tomorrow at the Gator with the Heat. He was in Camden then. And sure enough, he played the record and everybody started picking up on it.
Okay.
That's what happened. That's what that record was. Jerry Blavitt was the guy that made that the start of Billy the Essentials.
Okay. Okay. Good question, Mar. Good question. Let's go up to the professor.
Yeah.
Where's she at? Let me get her in here. Hold on. There she is. Go ahead, Professor.
Hi, Billy. My name is Sharon. They call me Professor.
You are
Thank you for joining us. Who is or was your ideal musician to collaborate with and why?
Dave White from
David.
He wrote out
the
Rock and Roll. You Don't Own Me for Leslie Gore. And I wrote for Leslie Gore, by the way. I wrote with Dave a song called Live and Learn that was on an album, Leslie Gore's album, Girl Talk. And it went gold a month ago. So I'm going to get a gold record because I have that. But it was Dave White. He was a genius. And then Leon Huff came in. He was more than a genius. Leon had so much talent. Guess what? When he played the piano, because I wrote with him, I watched him play. I played piano, but not like him. And I picked up his thing, what he was doing. And when he was getting gigs in New York, playing on all these recording sessions. So he had a gig with Phil Spector playing piano on the Ronettes records. And Phil Spector pulled him over and said, I want you to play for the rehearsals for the girls. I got new songs coming up. We're going to do it. He became their rehearsal guy. And he was on all the sessions. He's a hell of a talent, you know. I lost the sound.
There you go. I turned my mic off.
Right.
Good question there, Professor. Speaking about Leon, let's talk about. Oh man, it just went out of my head. The first one that he's supposedly written out of Camden. Not Mixed Up, Shook Up Girls. That's Patty and the
I
Emerald.
wrote that with him, Mixed Up Shook Up Girl.
Okay.
We
Okay.
wrote that together. I had the lyrics written down already, and me and Huff wrote that in the office at Schubert Building, and we were so excited. Leon came in the office and said, "Dude, we got a hit." I said, "What do you mean?" The Mixed Up Shook Up Girl song, Patty Emmons did it, and it's on the charts already. It's taken off, and we were so excited. And the publishing problem arrived. You know, when there's a publishing problem, everybody wants something.
Right.
So I said,
Right.
"Don't worry about it." He was so upset. I said, "Don't worry about it. We'll do good. It'll be a hit anyway." And it was.
Okay, it was. Yeah.
And
Now, what about the 81?
That was Jerry Roos produced that one.
Okay.
Kisses. That was Jerry
Okay.
Roos. He was a floor above us in the same building, Schubert Building, with Kenny Gamble.
Okay.
Kenny Gamble worked with him.
Right.
And
Okay.
Kenny was at the hospital, working at the hospital at the same time.
Okay. Cool. Let me jump back down here to Drew. Drew, go ahead, my brother.
Yes, sir, Mr. Carrlucci. I want to circle back to your songwriting career. I mean, you just mentioned that you've written over 1,000 songs for the likes of
1,758.
Wow.
I could imagine what those royalty checks look like. I can only imagine. I mean, you've written for groups like the Coasters, Leslie Gore you mentioned, Danny and the Juniors, so many. Wow.
Here's who I wrote for. Leslie Gore, Ricky Nelson, the Flamingos. That was a trip. Zeke and Jake called me, and I was working for Mercury in New York. He called me and said, "Can you write like an R&B pop song? Because we don't want to do the slow ballads." And I did. I wrote a song called "She Shook My World." And when I played it on the tape, they flipped out. We recorded it. After I played it, we recorded it right in the studio at Mercury. And it came out 2 days later. "She Shook My World." The Flamingos, they loved the record. And it went on the R&B charts because that's exactly what they wanted to do. So I wrote that for them. Then I wrote for Teresa Brewer a song called "Handle with Care." I was in the Army. I got drafted, and they were going to send me to Vietnam. Instead, I wrote songs. But I wrote "Handle with Care." She recorded that. Then I did Lollipops. I had the Heat Waves, Joey Heatherton, the Sherrys. Leon Huff and I wrote a lot of Sherry songs. Patty Shook My World. Jay and the Americans, a great song called "We'll Meet in the Yellow Forest." It was a great song. And I did the whole 1910 Fruit Company album called "Goody Goody Gumdrops." That's when I really started making money.
Okay.
Because I was well known as a bubblegum writer, and I had 5 albums that I wrote, sang, and produced and published.
Awesome. Good question there, Drew. Good question. A lot of homework digging there, bro.
Yeah, man.
Good question. Let's move over to let me go back to Kevin. Let me go back to Kevin here. Let me move it. There he is, Kevin there. Go ahead, Kev.
Hi, Kev.
You were saying a lot of artists you wrote for. With Danny Juniors, did you help write that song at the Hop?
No, I had nothing to do with that. But I was with the people when they were. The first song was called "Doo Da Bop," and Dick Clark changed it to "At the Hop." But I was with them at that time because they owned the record store on the 52nd and Market Street. It was called the Gold Record Shop, and I worked there for a while, you know, because they didn't want to stay there all the time, and they had a piano in the back room. But Dave White and John Madeira wrote that song, "At the Hop."
Okay, big song for them too. Big song.
Yeah.
Good question, Kev. Moving over to Jay. Jay, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah,
Jay,
Billy. Billy, with all the groups you perform with, which one would, if you were all together in concert, which one would be the headliners?
I think that's a good question.
Very good question.
When Little Anthony worked with the Imperials, they were phenomenal. They didn't do many shows. I worked with Little Anthony a lot on his own. Then the group came back, and they were phenomenal. It didn't work out though. They didn't have the right combination because Anthony had his own thing in his head, and the leader of the group, I forget his name. He was really good. He was really
tall
good.
guy, tall, and I forget his name too. Yeah,
he had all those steps, man.
Yeah,
that they really put the steps. Oh God, they were great. All the artists were good. Charlie Thomas and the Drifters were really good. Charlie Thomas, Drifters, woo, they were really
good. What a great loss. He's gone too. What a great loss.
Great loss. He was a nice guy.
He was.
He was my friend. I worked with everybody, and let me think. God, Danny the Juniors, the Sensations, the Encounters, the Duprees. I worked with everybody. Little Richard, I worked with. Chuck Berry, I worked with a lot. We opened for them because we had that time. God, Lou Christie was great. But one of the best groups, Billy and the Essentials. We had a great group. We just didn't have a great manager. We had a great group. Hello?
I'm on now. With Billy.
If you want to ask me, anybody's going to ask me what kind of group did I work at?
Just tap on the link.
Here's what I got to tell you. If anybody wants to ask me that question, we did Madison Square Garden 4 times. We did the Hollywood Bowl twice. We did the Hollywood Forum twice. Toronto Stadium with Ricky Nelson. We did that show 3 times. We played at the Grand Ole Opera, Danny and the Juniors, because they loved that.
Okay.
And that's where I met Minnie Pearl. She loved
it.
Yeah, she took me out to night.
Okay.
Cute.
All right. That's great. That's awesome. That's a good question, Jay, because you got Billy thinking. You see his glasses were foaming up there for a minute. Good question there. Let me move over to Lamar. Lamar, you ready for me? Lamar? Okay. Your mic is still off, Lamar. I mean on, excuse me. Your mic is on. It's muted. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Okay. In this day and time, who would you like to write for and let sing one of your songs?
Allie Hackett. Right now it's Allie Hackett.
I got to have the Music Lovers Ltd back me up then.
Well, you know what? I wrote with Billy Jackson.
Okay.
He came to my house with 2 other guys. We had a group where we're putting it together. We were rehearsing Where or When. And we were called Master Blend.
Okay.
And we were really good. And we started doing this and doing that. And Billy got sick.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do it anymore. And so the last time I saw Billy Jackson was at the Ralph's Italian restaurant with who was the guy that was always with him? He was a promoter. I forget his name. But I was with John Madeira, Billy Jackson, myself, and the other fellow. I can't remember his name. But that's the last I saw Jackson. But
wow.
I like Billy. He was so nice to me.
He was a nice guy. A nice guy. Good question, Mar. Good question. Let's move up to one of the ladies here, if I could. I'm trying to do them. Okay. I'm gonna leave Lamar's thing alone. Let's where's Diane? Where's that? There she is. Go ahead, Di.
Now, out of all the songs that you have written, what is your favorite one?
A song I wrote called Diane.
Oh, okay.
Diane. I could sing it, but I can't remember the opening line. But it was done by I had a group called the Golden Gate. I had a lot of groups. Golden Gate. It was called Diane. It was on the album was called Year One. It was on Audio Fidelity Records. But Diane came out as a single, and it was a big record. It sold, sold in Europe. It was a big record, Audio Fidelity Records. But that's Diane.
Okay.
I mix up Chick Up Girl, but Diane is the way.
Awesome. Good question, Dave. Good question, Diane.
Laura, Diane.
Good question. Billy, tell us about share your experiences about being in the record business in Philadelphia, South Philly, if you will, at a very young age, fighting to get on top. And share some of your experiences with that.
I loved every minute of it. I wasn't fighting because I loved it.
Okay.
You know, if I was fighting, I wouldn't have got drafted.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I love every moment of it. There's just, I'm going to tell you this quick story.
Go ahead.
1964, Dave Apple, and I don't know if you know Joe Wizard. He was my good friend.
Okay.
He lived in South Philly. But he said to me, we want to record you with this song that Mann and Wild wrote, Barry Mann and Cynthia Wild. I says, all right, we're going to go to New York at Mirror Sound, and the song is called Remember Me, Baby. So I get to the studio, and the record was, phenomenal record. So they bring it back, and they play it for Bernie Vinnick. He said, this is going to be Billy the Essentials' biggest, we're going to make him a star, right?
Okay.
Now, I'm signed to Mercury Records with a girl, Billy and Dawn, not as Billy and the Essentials.
Okay.
Duo. And I was signed as a songwriter and Billy and Dawn. I get a phone call from Bernie Lowe. You have to come to my office now, Mr. Carl. I get to his office, and I open the door. He starts yelling at me. How can you do that? You little Kakonta kid, whatever he's called me in the Jewish language. Clanging on the desk. You're signed to Mercury Records. I'm not signed as Billy the Essentials. I'm signed as Billy and Dawn. No, you're not. And threw me out of his office.
Wow.
So
wow.
Time goes on. I get drafted. I come back, and everybody wanted that record. But they gave me 2 boxes of records when I left. And I put them in my mother's closet. If you have a copy of that record, it's $5,000. It became a collector.
Wow.
It's called Remember Me, Baby.
Okay. By Billy and Dawn.
No, the Billy and the Essentials.
Oh, Billy and the Essentials. Okay.
It came out, Billy and the Essentials, featuring Billy Carl.
Okay. Okay. Great story. Yeah. Great story. When I met and maybe you probably got it anyway, but what I meant was fighting. I meant you had other groups in South Philadelphia standing on the corner, doo-wopping and what have you, and you guys were the new guys coming in. That's what I meant as far as moving up the ranks, getting into the bigger picture, if you will. That's what I meant by that. How was that experience? Or I'm sure that there was, because even in the black neighborhoods in North Philly, South Philly, North Philly, West Philly, the groups were fighting each other. The Intruders versus the Dream Lovers. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing was going on. So tell us about your experiences there, if you would.
You know what I did? You ain't gonna believe this. When I heard a good group, I would say, "You guys really good." I would write a song for them. I would write and take them to the studio and record it at Virtue Studios, because I had a deal with Frank Fletcher. That's what I did. And so I had a one group here that I managed and wrote for and produced for. One group here. I had 3 groups that I was writing and producing for.
At the same time?
At the same time. I had my records out. But that's if they sounded good, I was going to give them a break. And it did. I gave them a demo record. And if they could do something, they'd do something. But I never discouraged anybody that I liked that was singing. If they couldn't sing, I'll just go the other way.
Okay. We have Billy, we got a special guest joining us here. I'm going to turn his mic on just for a second. The legendary producer and writer, Mr. George Kerr. George, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing pretty good. And yourself?
I'm good. I don't know if you know Billy. I'm sure that you guys have bumped into each other somewhere down the road, but I'm glad that you're here. Go ahead.
Great, man. I'm glad to see all you guys, man. And your show is fantastic, man.
And I met you somewhere. I'm trying to figure where it was. We were both trying to pick up the same girl, I think, somewhere.
You think that's what it was?
I think I met you at Cameo Parkway with somebody like it might have been Kenny Gamble. You look very familiar. Do you ever write with Kenny and any of those guys?
Well, I did Linda Jones with Kenny. That's when I'll Stop Loving You and a couple of other songs I did.
Yeah, you're a good guy. You got talent.
Huh?
You got talent.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, I just want you guys to meet. George is going to hang in and just listen to the rest of the show.
Yes.
Bill, thank you for sharing that with us. Let me jump back in here. I think Kevin got off and now he's back. Kevin, let me see if I can get you in here right now. Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, Billy. Of all the records you made and wrote for, what was the highest rating like on the charts that you come to?
Probably Leslie Gore. Here's why. It was only an album cut, but the reason why Quincy Jones produced the album.
Okay.
He was the producer. He loved that song I wrote, Live and Learn. He called me and told me that that's going to be the next single. The reason why it didn't become the next single was Leslie Gore's brother wanted the next single, which was a terrible record called Hey Now.
Wow.
And they released that instead of mine. But the song on that album made that album a big hit.
Okay.
So that's why it went gold. So to answer your question, the song Live and Learn.
Wow. Good question, Kev. Good question.
Thank you so
much. Let me jump over here and see how we can do with Lamar. Let me see if Lamar, your mic just will not, I can't control your mic. We're having a problem with that. Okay, there you go. You're open. Okay. Lamar, you're open.
Okay. Oh, my question would be, did you want to sing one of your songs but never did?
Did I? Yes, I did.
Was I heard?
That's a good one. It was a song called, Dave White wrote it. I think it was called Teenage Memory.
Okay.
It's called Teenage Memory. Or In the Meantime. You tell me that you leave even though. In the Meantime. It's a great song. All the B-side songs that Dave wrote for Danny and the Juniors were the best songs ever written. Sometimes When I'm All Alone.
Oh, yeah.
You know? He wrote all the B-sides. Schoolboy's Romance. He just had it, you know? Years went by and I wrote a lot with Dave. A lot of songs with Dave and Johnny. And then we broke up. They all collect. I mean, that's like 1,000 songs right there at the Schubert Building, going in and out. The albums and all. When you wrote an album, you're on every song. So
that's awesome. Good question, Mar. Good question.
Thank you.
Let me run up here to Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Yes, Billy, with all the songs you've written, did anybody ever steal credit for them?
There's a lot of them. And I can't mention the one person that had a hit last year that sounded like my song, but I could tell you the title. It's called Underneath the Tree.
Wow.
And it's very close from my song that I had on my Christmas album. And a lot of songs that came out, my demos, when I used to go to New York, I sent demos, I left demos, but I shouldn't have. But I trademarked them all and copywritten them. And there's a lot of them that sound the same. They might have stole the riff, a line. There's not too much you can do, you know? Yeah.
Okay. Good question, Jay. Let me move over to Mark. Go ahead, my brother Mark.
Question, Billy. It's going through my brain. With the talent that you possess, do you get more joy out of being a writer or a performer?
Oh, great question. Great question.
That's a tough one. I like everything I write, or I don't write it. When I started, I love the progressions. I got different progressions and, the menin and everything. They're equal. Unless I can't sing, I got a bad day. And that does happen.
It
does happen.
Yeah.
When I look up sometimes, when nothing comes out, I look up. There's my mom, and I can sing again.
Okay. Good question, Mark. Excellent question. Excellent question. Very good question. Let me move over to Diane. Hold on, Di. Go ahead, babe.
Wow. It was here and I lost it. I had a question, but I lost it. You know.
Don't worry, Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff will get it back.
You know, you're in your moment. Wow, what was I going to ask you? Now I know you're still performing, right?
Yes.
And you, how many? You just do it every night, or how often do you perform now? Besides the 2 that you told us about,
I have at least 5 or 6 shows a month. But I got very lucky at a few places in Atlantic City. Out of nowhere, I was singing on the boardwalk with this group I didn't even know, just fooling around doing harmony. And somebody taps me on the shoulder in front of the Hard Rock. Can I talk to you? I thought he was going to tell us don't sing here anymore. But he brought me in. And he says, do you do this for a living? I said, yeah. He said, are you interested in doing any private affairs? I said, of course. And it turns out he was one of the executives. And all of a sudden I'd be getting these little party things in the suite rooms and stuff, anything. And the money's real good. And people like me. Said, that's answered your question. But I do a lot of them. And I do a show every week with Patty LaChancy. So that adds up. And I do a VFW shows for the veterans twice a month in Glassboro. And I have a radio show every Saturday at WPEN and WWDB with the doo-wop priest, Rock and Roll Reveille. And we do a veteran show. Man. Yeah.
That's pretty busy. That's pretty busy.
I'm starting to say to myself, what are you going to do? I have no answers.
Good question, Di. Good question, Di. Let me move over to the professor. Go ahead, Professor.
Do you or did you ever have performance anxiety, and how did you handle it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Before you go, you get the thing, the anxiety. And then you say to yourself, I'm going on. And you run on. Don't let anybody talk to you behind the stage. You'll never work. It'll never work. You got to wait till you go on. Then you go on and you open up as soon as if the sound system's good and the music sounds good, you're going to be able to sing good. So I've been lucky in that respect. Once in a while, the sound's terrible and you can't sing. You just can't sing. Okay. And I know that's a lot for everybody that's a singer. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
But I answered your question. Thank you, Professor. You're cute too, you know.
Good question. Billy, let me ask you this. There are a lot of performers who have what you consider backstage rituals that they do prior to going out on the stage. Is there anything that you do before you go to do a show? Is there a certain thing that you must eat? Is there a certain thing that you refrain from eating? Is it cold water or room temperature water? That type of thing. What rituals do you have or don't you have, Billy?
It's going to sound funny, but I cannot eat anything. 3 hours.
Prior to a show.
4 hours, yeah. Can't eat anything. I'll have breakfast, that's it. Even if the show's at 9 o'clock. I drink water. Fiji water. That's the best water, Fiji. It's clean. Okay. Dion told me to do that. That works.
Okay. Okay.
I don't exercise. I don't warm up. Because if I warm up and it doesn't sound good, then I'm going to be nervous before I can get on. So I don't warm up. I just go on cold.
Okay.
And I knew right away if that sound is good, I could sing.
Okay.
Yes, I could do, but I don't eat. But I am hungry.
Okay. I got you. Tell me about one of my favorite songs, The Dance Is Over. How did that come about? Because that's more or less like at least I've always pictured that as being a teenager at a hop or a dance, as we used to call them, and that favorite girl or that special girl, you got that last dance and you don't want to let go. That's in my mind how that song came about. Share with us how that song came about.
Well, when I was a kid, I was a big playing B-sides all the time. I love B-sides.
Okay.
And that was a B-side. And I played that over and over again. And I love that song. Luther Dixon wrote that. He was a great writer. I met him after that, along with Richard Barrett. I wrote with Richard Barrett. Many years after, I wrote for the 3 Degrees with Richard Barrett.
Okay.
But the Dance Is Over had the chord progression. You know, I told Doris, I was on the road with Doris Jackson. She sang lead on that. That was her singing lead.
Okay.
She said, I heard your record after a while, you know, when I went on the road. She says, that record's phenomenal. I said, yeah, but your voice is, she said, no, you have the sound for what you did with that record. That was a great record.
Okay. How old were you when you recorded that, Billy?
I was 15.
Wow.
You left me standing at the dance alone. You said, I'm singing to the girls. Could walk you home. The dance is over. The dance is over. And you are gone, gone, gone. I can't make it.
All right. I love that song, man. I love it. It's a great song. Let me just jump over here and see if George Kerr got goosebumps on his arms. You know what I mean? Because you know he's good with them goosebumps.
Goosebumps. I get that.
Boy, what you say, George?
Maureen Gray. Remember Maureen Gray?
Yeah.
She sang. We did a lot of sessions together with Billy the Essentials and Maureen Gray. Split sessions they were called.
Okay.
Every time she sang, I almost fainted, and I got goosebumps. She had that certain quality to her voice, like Frankie Lyman, you know. But that was incredible. She was an incredible girl.
Okay.
Frankie
and she was from West Philadelphia.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, she was from West
I hung out with her a lot. Her mother wouldn't let me get close to her. Her mother,
it was sort of like your reputation might have preceded you. You know what I mean?
Well, she was 15, I think, and I was 16, going on 17. She was only 15. She was she was a pretty girl.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me jump over here to Mark. Let me find him first. We're gonna start winding down pretty shortly. Mark, go ahead, my brother.
Well, Mr. Carrlucci, I gotta say, sir, it's a pleasure meeting you. Always good to see some alum of Bartram that are doing fantastic things, sir. Thank you for the music of the past, and please keep it coming. If you ever want to write a song, you need somebody to sing like 15th tenor, I'm your guy. I can help you out.
You're in. You know, Bartram, I went to Bartram. Got in there at 9 o'clock and left at 9:30.
Okay. Backdoor action.
And I got A's on my report card. My mother said, where's your homework? I said, I did it already. How'd you do it already? You're back. It's 9:30 in the morning.
That's amazing. That is amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Jay, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah.
You just turned your mic off, Jay. You just turned your mic off.
Billy,
all right, there you go. You just turned it off, Jay.
There you go. Hang on tight.
All right.
Billy, if you were promoting a doo-wop concert, who would be your top groups? Just to name a few.
Ooh, good question.
Well, the Skyliners were great.
Yes.
Yes. Were great. They had great songs, great records. The Flamingos, if they were together now, or just in general, if I had to get them together. Billy the Essentials.
Obviously.
Let me think. Doo-wop groups.
That's a good question, Jay. You got him thinking again. I'll tell you that much.
There's a group I produced called The Encounters that I produced that group called Don't Stop. They were great. I would have them on the show. The Encounters.
Okay. All right. Good question, Jay. Good question. Let's move over to Where the guys at? There you go. There you go. Kevin, go ahead, my brother.
Hey, Billy. Once again, I want to thank you for joining us this evening. And there's a lot of history in your career, and I'm glad you shared it with us. I remember when back in '59, I think that's when you started your group, the Essentials. I was only 6 years old then.
Well, some people were 5 and you were 6.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. You know, you know the name of the group, right? That's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. You know, when you start thinking about ages, it's tough because I know I'm going to be 80 in February, but I don't feel it. I feel me. I just am me.
Don't look it.
That's cool. Yeah. Thanks, Kev. All right. Excuse me. Moving over to Lamar. Well, we having problems with this mic of yours, Lamar. I'm telling you. Lamar, there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Go ahead, Lamar.
Okay. Those that's listening to us who want to be singers.
Billy, what advice would you give to those that are listening to us who wants to be singers?
Well, if you don't love to sing, you have to love to sing. And if you can't sing, you can't learn how to sing. You got to put them all together. If somebody tells you you could sing and you think you can't sing, don't sing. It's hard to. I'm serious. There's people think they could sing. And they ask me, can you write a song for me? I say, how can I write a song for you? You can't sing. Well, can you try? I said, what do you ask me? How can I write it if you can't sing? If you played an instrument, it'd be different. You know, if you play an instrument, you'd probably get away with it. If you can't sing, you can't sing.
Yeah. That's a good question. That's a good question. Good question. Good question,
Lamar.
Lamar. Good question.
I waited for that one.
Okay. That's a good question, Lamar. That's a good question. Drew, come on in, Drew.
Yes, sir, Mr. Carrlucci. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's wonderful that you share some of your experiences in the music business. Right quick, before we let you go, as a performer, where was the most famous, what was the most fun place for you to perform? Either in America or in Europe?
Good question.
Or elsewhere?
Good question. Good question. I think Billy's fading out here with the internet. There he is. He's back. Billy, can you hear us? Hold on a second. Let me see what's going on. Billy, can you hear me? This internet is wonderful when it works, boy, but when it doesn't, he must be trying to get back in. Billy, can you hear? He's frozen. So that was a good question, Drew. I hope he can come back and answer it. Yeah, that's a good question. You know what? I think even with that question, I think we all know the answer because every artist that has come here has said that overseas was better. You know what I mean? Everyone. Okay.
Yeah, we always ask the questions. So it's always interesting to know.
Yeah. I don't know where. Oh, I think he's trying to come back in. George, how you like the show so far?
What can I say? And the missus.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. We try. I don't know where Billy is. I don't know where he is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I'm sure he's going to try to pop back in. But that was a great question by Drew. And for those of you that may be tuning in for the very first time, this is what we do on Friday nights. We try our best to dig up, and I don't mean that in an unpleasant term, some of the legends, if you will. Billy Carrlucci is a legend. George Kerr is a legend. They may not consider themselves as that only because of what they do is what they do. But they are the ones that have entertained, have written, have put lasting memories in all of our lives up until this day. George Kerr is mostly famous for the stuff that he's done with Linda Jones, with the Moments, Ray Goodman and Brown, the early OJs. What's the young lady's name? Who am I thinking about? The young lady that passed away.
Linda Jones?
No. I said Linda because Kevin, he shouldn't go throw his hat if I don't say Phyllis Hyman. Yes, Phyllis Hyman. Phyllis Hyman. George has a list as long as anybody's arm for people that he's written for and people that he's produced and what have you. Yeah, Phyllis Hyman. Yeah, and then you got like I said, Billy Carrlucci on the Philadelphia side, writing Patty and the Emblems, Mixed Up, Shook Up Girl, and some of the great songs, Leslie Gore and what have you. So these are the things that I think it's Billy calling me now. Yeah, it is. It is Billy calling. I don't know what happened. You sort of faded out, my brother.
Tell him sign back on.
Try to see if you can come back on so you can end the show with us, if you can. Okay, bro.
Good seeing you, George. Can't wait to get you back on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
George, you talked about quite a bit on the show. And I tell you, I don't know if you could, I'm sure you can see Kevin. Kevin will not let anybody forget about Linda Jones. So therefore, your name is always mentioned. Always mentioned. You know what I mean?
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
But again, some of the folks that brought us to where we are now. You know what I'm saying? Kevin is crazy about Linda Jones, obviously, and so am I. You know that. But then next week, next Thursday, I'm just passing this on to you, George, while we got time. Okay. Next week, and I'm going to call Billy and talk to him this week. Next Thursday night, my battle of the Philadelphia groups are the Delphonics versus the Moments.
Wow.
That's my group. That's my battle next week. And even though the Moments were not from Philadelphia, they were accepted very well. It was only right across the street in Jersey. You know what I mean? So that's my battle there. But it's the music that has sustained us all of these years and has sustained us through highs, lows, ins, outs, marriages, divorces, children, grandchildren, the whole thing. And that I will stick by that until I can't take any more breath. That's the thing that we do. So those of you that are out there, we do this on Friday. We try to dig up some of the legends, if you will, and have them come on and talk to us about in an hour or so about their career, about some of the successes that they've had, and share with us some of the memories that you guys, I'm talking about you folks out there in the TV land, that you guys are not going to flip an album over and read or pull out the insert of a CD and read. The things that Billy is talking about, the things that George talks about, the things that anybody talks about on the show is things that they've lived, they breathed, and you're not going to read about them anywhere. It takes these guys to come here and talk to you about it. You know what I'm saying? So George, we're not ready to go yet. I think we got maybe how much time we got? We got about 7 minutes before we roll out of here. Let me go over to Kevin. Kevin's got a question. Hold on, Kev. Go ahead, Kev.
Hey, George, while we got you on the air, I know it may sound crazy, but do you have any glossies of Linda Jones you can send to me?
Yes, I can. I know it's about 2 I have.
I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem.
I got a picture frame ready for it.
Okay. I'll have one for you.
Okay,
cool.
You can get my address from Ali.
Okay.
All right. All right. Well, that's provided he got to send me that a change is going to come that he's been promising me for 300 years. I got you. Yeah. I got you. But you know, yeah, that's cool. We're going to run around the room. I don't know if Billy probably wasn't able to get back, but we're going to run around the room real quick and everybody will say their goodbyes, if you will. Drew, I'm going to start with you. Go ahead, Drew. Hold on, Drew. Hold on. Okay, go ahead, Drew.
Okay, yes. Thank you, George, for popping in and joining us, Mr. Kerr. It was a nice, like icing on the cake, man, between you and Mr. Carrlucci, detailing some of your recording and production career. Much appreciated. Look forward to speaking with you again, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Drew. Let me move over to where we at here? Lamar. Let's move and see if I can catch Lamar. All right, Lamar, you on. Go ahead, bro. Lamar, you on. Go ahead. Oh boy. Lamar, you're on. Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you for being on the show, and just always it's interesting. Okay. Well, I was saying thank you for being on
We
the
got you.
show. Every time we come on, we learn something new. Thank you.
Cool. Cool. Jay, go ahead, my brother. Jay. All right. There you
George,
go.
thanks for stopping in. I knew this hour we was going to spend with Billy was going to be great, and it was. But we really need to get back with you, because we learned so much from you, and we appreciate all the insight you provide for us. So we always
Okay.
look forward to talking with you. So
Okay. My pleasure.
we'll
My
be looking
pleasure.
forward to seeing you real soon. And I know you've been
Yes.
invited to our Remember Then Ready
Yes. I will
radio.
be there.
Yeah, you're coming. That would
Yes.
be great. Yeah. Everybody have
All
a
right,
good
Jay.
weekend.
Thanks, bro. Mark, coming at you, babe. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I've had the pleasure of videotaping Mr. George Kerr down at the studio, and we was down doing the show. I think the professor was there, and we were in the studio down at PPM.
Yeah.
Ali, PPM,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Mr. Kerr. But it's always good to see you, bro, and I look forward to seeing you at the Hackett Ranch.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
The Hackett Estate.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Mark. Diane, go ahead, babe.
Mr. Kerr, it was a pleasure seeing you again. And Mr. Carrlucci, I love you. Okay, it was a pleasure talking to you this evening, and hope that you can get back and we can finish.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Di. Come on in, Professor.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kern, for stopping in. I look forward to meeting you on the 13th or the 14th or the 15th.
Okay. Looking forward to meeting you too.
And to Mr. Carrlucci, it's been very informative. Very informative. Please come by and join us again. Can't hear you, Allie.
There you go.
There you go.
He will. I just got to, reach out to him. That's the thing about this technology. It's wonderful when it works, but when it doesn't, it's a pain in the behind. But it is what it is, and I'm sure that Billy will come back. And what I'd like to do group-wise, again, one of these Thursdays I'll take off for RTR, and we all get together, those of us that can, and go over and hang out with Billy over at Vera's Restaurant in Cherry Hill. I think that would be really, really cool. Really cool. To the listening audience, thank you for joining us. We're sort of winding down now. I'm so sorry, and I apologize about Billy Carrlucci leaving us. Technical difficulties. These things happen. But Billy left us, but we had the addition of the legendary George Kerr, and you can't beat that. So you got one superstar that might fade out, and you got another one step right back in. You know what I'm saying? So, and Jay, you sort of beat me to the punch, but I was going to announce that George Kerr is going to be with us on the 14th of next month here at as Mark says, at the ranch, at the Hackett Ranch. He's going to be with us. Those of you that don't know, Bobby Wilson, Jackie Wilson's son, is flying in from Vegas. He is going to be here with us also. The Ebonies are going to be performing. They're going to be here also. So we've got some talent that's going to be here and just have a fun evening. As I said last night on the radio, it's not a show. It's where we can sit back, have a burger, and laugh and talk. I'm going to interview George. I invited Billy. I invited Billy to come too. I'm just going to talk to these guys just like we're talking now, just very freely and loosely and just having a good time. So that's what's going to be happening there. Ladies and gentlemen, in a couple of minutes, if you would, turn your radios on to WPPM 106.5 FM or phillycam.org/listen. Yours truly is on from 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. Enjoy the show. Next Friday on this station right here will be the legendary girls, Hot, Butter, and Soul. The ones that backed up Isaac Hayes, they will be with us next Friday. And then the following Friday, which is the last Friday of this month, we will have Mr. John Edwards, who, I don't want to say that word. I was going to say replaced, but he did not, who stepped in for Felipe Wynn on the Spinners when Felipe went to the Funkadelics. Well, John Edwards stepped in and did a hell of a job, but he's going to be our guest the last Friday of this month. Stay tuned each Friday, 8:55 till 10 o'clock. We have a special guest, a blast from the past, if you will, and we have fun talking about the good old days. This is where the music is and where the music lives. George, always a pleasure that you can pop in anytime, my brother. You've got we haven't even talked about artists yet that you've dealt with that we haven't even got on the show yet. So we're always looking to hear from you. Always looking to hear from you. Everybody have a great weekend. Mark, you and I will talk tomorrow. Everybody take care. Good night. Whoa. I forgot to even put my music on. I got to put my music on. There we go. Going somewhere, Lamar? Going to see your daughter or something? No? Okay. Jay, be careful. Diane, don't wrestle with them alligators too much. Professor, I'll talk to you soon. Mark, talk to you, Mark. Everybody, good night and have a good time. See ya.